The lateral M zone defense, these are the main teaching points. I'm going to go quickly through them. I'd like you to have a look at it in more detail. I'm not going to walk you through every line here. I think you understand the concept now, highlighting the core teaching points. So obviously in this example, the lateral M, the number one priority once again is to prevent any passes to the hole. Priority 2 is to neutralize the most dangerous outside shots, and in other cases even to choose which ones we'll accept and which ones we won't, which ones we will challenge more than others. Now I walk through step by step the blocking assignments for each of the defending players. I'm not going to repeat them here. So this is the lateral M zone defense. If there are any questions, we can discuss them. We're basing our approach on the approach that's being used currently by Pat Oaten and the men's national team. Any variations on this we can have conversations about, but generally speaking, this is the way that we'll be teaching it, and these are the corrections that we would use when we're analyzing the player's performance. In the case of a press defense, priority number 1 is to prevent any passes to the hole. Priority 2 is to prevent the free movement of the ball. Priority number 3 is to regain possession and or generate counterattacks. Each defending player has a triangle of responsibility, which involves the following 3 things. Number 1, control their immediate opponent. 2, know the location and the status of the ball. And 3, be available to help a teammate in trouble. So for example, let's look at player 2 white. What is their triangle of responsibility? First, control their immediate opponent, opponent number 7 blue. Second, know the location and the status of the ball. In this case, the ball's in the 2 position. This diagram doesn't show the status. The status refers to whether or not the ball can move. So if the attacking player has his or her back to the net, the ball is not in any danger of moving right away. However, if they've turned and they're in a passing position, then the status of the ball has just changed. And number 2 defender, white team, needs to know that. Thirdly, if for some reason 8 blue was in a position to try and throw a backdoor pass to the center forward, his teammate or her teammate, number 5 blue, 2 may need to be available to help the 2-meter guard. Or conversely, if teammate 6 white got grabbed and 3 blue makes an entry move with an extra player open attack, defender 2 white will probably most likely have to release from 7 and play in the gap and make a decision based on the next sequence in the play. So that's an example of a triangle of responsibility. Now, I've identified here 3 general styles of press. There's the more modern Spanish or Japanese style. The second, that's A. B would be heavy style, used by a lot of teams around the world, whereby they're heavy and leaning right into the attacking player with the ball, trying to regain possession or force a turnover. And there's a more conservative traditional style, which is they stay behind and only tackle or put pressure, heavy pressure at the moment where the player turns to make the pass. In styles A and C, the preference is to avoid fouls. In other words, we don't want to stop the shot clock. We want to run down the shot clock as quickly as possible. That's the main reason for avoiding fouls. Whereas in style B, fouls are an acceptable outcome of attempting to steal the ball and or force a turnover. In this case, we are stopping the shot clock, and we are adding to the real time, the real possession time. So the difference between B and C, for example, would be B, we're trying to regain possession, whereas in C, we're oftentimes protecting a lead. We don't need to play that more risky style of either Spanish or heavy. The goalie should communicate with his or her 2-meter guard, informing them of the location and the status of the ball. Because the 2-meter guard is in a fronting position, they are oftentimes not able to fulfill their obligation of the triangle of responsibility, especially knowing the location and status of the ball. It's not always possible because of the battle that's going on between them and the center forward. So the goalkeeper should be in a position to provide very valuable information about whether or not the ball can move or can't move, because there are opportunities, therefore, for the 2-meter guard to avoid getting into a penalty situation by being too heavy or trying to recover too quickly in the case of a loss of a position or something. The goalie acts really as the 7th field player rather than a purely goaltender role in assisting the 2-meter guard to make steals when passes are attempted to the hole. So the goalie is available just like the rest of the players. So, they aren't controlling an opponent, but they certainly need to obviously know the location and status of the ball. That's a constant for the goalkeeper. But in the press, in this particular type of defense, the goalie's playing almost like a 7th field player.